Previously in Time Frame. Ooh, what's that in the sky? That's moving too. And now. And there's the meteor coming, or comet, as the case may be. Probably a comet if it's passing every so many years. It's probably in orbit around their sun as well. It's kind of a crystal up there. And there's a little blue stone face down here. Mask. Cataclystians. So there's different factions. I guess each one of these is a different faction. There are those among us that would attribute all prosperity to the grace of the nomad. We are undeserving of such graces. The only grace imparted by the nomad is our postponed annihilation. These visitations are a warning, a pronouncement of what is yet to come. We must be at peace with the possibility of cataclysm prior to the arrival of the aggregariate. All that has been found may be lost, and who are we to weep? When all is dust, who will remain to shed a tear? From the Cataclystian ideologies by the founder of Cataclystia, Lycia Loth Lycian, written in Cycle Prioria 451. So, we are looking at a history that's spanning thousands of years here. And different factions and things are forming up around the theories that people are finding and believing and propagating about this comet that's passing every so often. There's lots of gates and things out through there too. I want to go up here to this thing that to me looks like an aqueduct and see what the deal is with it. Since we've come this far, that seems the best use of our time before we get annihilated by the nomad once again. And it's looking like we're not really going to be able to do anything with this structure. There's definitely containers up there that are aflame. So I guess we'll follow it this direction. There could be something out through there, but it doesn't look like it as far as the draw distance will let me see at the moment. Not entirely convinced that we can't do something to stop this cycle. Though we may just be on a mission to learn about what's going on with these people and their history and whatnot. I know using Earth and what we know of our own history and societies as a leaping off point, primitive people without the knowledge of scientific method and whatnot will make up supernatural reasons to explain things that they don't understand. Kind of gives them comfort, helps them make sense of their existence and of the world that they live in. It's like people used to believe that humors within the body would make people ill and they would bleed them to balance the humors, which is actually how the American President Abe Lincoln died. The gunshot to the head wasn't actually what killed him. Though, it may have eventually, but what actually killed him at the time was the doctors bleeding him to prevent infection. And the blood loss, he just couldn't take it in his weakened state, and he died. But there's lots of other examples, and I'm not going to go into that. Not trying to step on anyone's toes. Because there's a lot of those old beliefs and superstitions still prevalent today. Though they do seem to grow lesser and get washed away as years go by. Each subsequent generation learning more of the way things are actually and proper logical thinking dispels those away. Wonder what these gates are, if there's something to learn from them. They're leading up to the tower there. And then this one looks like it's a 4-way sort of gate. So maybe I can get close enough before this thing crashes again to find something up here through this, because it looks like it's pointing to something in this direction. And there may be something at the base of the tower back there as well that we need to find. I just don't know if I'm going to get it in time. There's not really any kind of a sprint button that I've been able to find. So we just have to take it as it comes and go with the speed that we're allowed. There's a big door. Can we go through that door? Looks like there's a smaller door in the left-hand one. We got some more flowers and petals or pollen or something flying up into the air there. Yeah, I know, music. I'm going as fast as I can. Of course, I hope I have time to read it if I get here. No, I didn't make it. Have to come straight here next time, I guess. Now that we know that this looked like a little plaque down there beside the small door set into the large gate. Let's get moving even before that fades. Try to make the absolute most of our time. And we can't walk off the edges here. I've tried. Oh, maybe we can. I thought we were prevented from falling. That's good then. That saves us some time. And we can check out the base of this tower here too. Let's kind of make our way around this thing. Well, maybe we can't. Let's climb. And any time that I saved by doing that, I've now probably lost by getting horribly stuck in a ditch. Such is my lot in life. Okay. So, I mean, there's little uncarved rocks sticking up around the tower there too. Around the base or whatever. If it was a house, I'd call it a patio or a porch. But I don't know what you'd call it on a tower. And I went the wrong direction. Apparently I've walked all the way around. I went out the wrong door within the tower there, it looks like. So what is down here? Oh, there's space in under this thing. I'm just going to look really quick to make sure that there's nothing here for us to find, because this would be a really sneaky place to put something that's needed to be found. But I don't see anything. So let's head through these gates and see if we can get back to the big door set in the aqueduct there. Find out what it has to tell us, and then we'll move on to the right from there. And if the sun on this world follows the same patterns as the one on our world, then we'll be heading to the west. And we should be, if that's west, we're heading south at the moment. Just trying to pause there and get an image of a map in my mind. Get the cardinal directions correct there. I love this art style. It's very beautiful. Even the sun looks like it's throwing off little bits of paper and things at a super slow rate. One thing's for sure though, the time slowdown is a good thing. Otherwise, we would have no time at all to get to this. Because that thing would be here, from the time that it appeared to the time it struck, would probably be a matter of less than a minute. As it is, I think that we're having right around like 9 to 10 minutes per thing, maybe? I'm not sure about that. I haven't really been keeping track of how long that we have each time. There's a statue over there of a humanoid figure. Maybe it is actually human, standing with something over their shoulder. Don't know what the deal with that is. I'm sure we'll find out though. It's got to be a part of this whole story. Look up at the dome of the sky. Huh. Went out today to visit some friends. Played a game of Killer Bunnies. and the quest for the magic carrot. That was fun. My friend has pretty much every expansion printed for that game except for the one or ones. I'm not sure how many there are that are for like younger kids and whatnot. That are like Kinder Bunnies or whatever they're called. I think the asteroid has appeared, or the comet has appeared in the sky again. Anyway, there's a lot of crazy stuff in that game. What do we have? Looked like musical notes just looking at it. Victory Gates, both barricade and monument. The Grand Wall and Victory Gates will stand for generatia. I like how that on some words they take, like we would say generation, and they take the N and the last couple of letters off and just replace it with an A. Anyway, gates will stand for generatia to come as stalwart, unmoving defenders, reminding all of what was lost and what will now be saved. After 17 cycles of unyielding construction, the wall's designer, Khalith Doth Colin, places the final capstone in its setting. Marking a new age of protection and prosperity, the memory of this day will surely be treasured by the aggregate. I keep wanting to say aggregate, with the grace of the nomad. These people really held this comet in esteem to the point of maybe even worship. From the Astronium War Chronicles by the archivist Darian Dostrian concerning the inauguration of the Grand Wall in cycle 566. These Doths and Koths and whatever may be meaning like son of or daughter of or something like that, or it could be maybe referring to where they're from or what group they're born from. Like most of you probably heard of Leif Erikson, who was a Viking that made it supposedly to North America way ahead of the other European countries that are normally cited with the discovery. And the reason his name is Ericsson is it literally means Eric's son. His father was named Eric, and he was his son. And it's like the magic card, Safi, Eric's daughter. Literally mean that Safi is the daughter of Eric. So it's kind of just neat the way names come about. Just like I learned not too long ago that Fitz, like for example, specifically Fitzroy. Fitz is a term that was given in Anglo countries to children born illegitimately outside of wedlock, maybe as an extramarital affair or just completely out of wedlock. And Fitzroy means an illegitimate child of royal blood. So someone with the name Fitzroy would have an ancestor who was royalty. It's kind of neat just to think about. Don't know exactly what something like maybe Fitzpatrick would mean, if the same standards apply, unless maybe it's just an add-on there and their last name was originally, father or whatever's last name was originally Patrick. Just really interesting to me how different things come about. I often say to my friends, my head is filled with useless trivia and knowledge that nobody really needs, because I find it all interesting, kind of soak that stuff up like a sponge. Looks like a pyramid. I don't know, just a naturally occurring formation, I guess. It looked like a pyramid to me, at the least. This looks like some sort of astronomy type of deal. There's lots of crystal here in this place. What's this? Waning hopes. For 17 cycles we have struggled, searching for a way to prevent or forestall the impending visitation of the observed spacefarer. Affirmationists and revivalists united have found no refuge. I fear that our inability to admit defeat and leave this valley may bring about our destruction, but the hope of the aggregariate lingers with the people. Old ways die hard. This may not be a destruction we can outrun, even with 10 more cycles between us. While the revivalists toil with their spire, I place my remaining confidence in the young apprentice, Conserva Loth Commissara. If anyone can uncover the mysteries of stream bending, it may be her. From the Journal of Chronotorium Affirmationist, Verifion doth Veridian, Cycle 1989. So this is 10 years before the very first book that we found, and we're not going to get to anything else before this thing crashes on us. How many have we got? Oh, well, we'll look at it when we spawn next time, I suppose. I think we may have gotten everything to get on the side of the spire, as they called it, that's facing away from the sun. So let's head toward the sun, because that's where we were ended last time. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 remaining. There's something over there as well I see sticking up. But I'm going to go in the direction where I saw several things clustered together. Try to get a bunch of these just locked in at the same time. Walking straight towards the sun. Towards the west, as we would call it if this was our world. It may not be that direction at all. On this planet, the sun may rise in the south and set in the north. Or, vice versa. Let's try to get to this statue down here. I'm going to try to make my way up onto the ridge and approach it from behind. Maybe we won't get in a position where I'm right below it and can't actually get up to it to see if there's any interactables there. And be careful to dodge the cacti so we don't get stuck and poisoned by agave nectar. They need that stuff to make the tequila. The sun beats down on our lonesome, weary traveler. Time passes ever by, and more slowly as impending doom comes toward us from the sky. The nomad, ever our constant companion for so many cycles, on a collision course that means our certain destruction. Can the young apprentice find a way to manipulate the streams and become the last airbender? Or not. Maybe we'll just find the Dragon Balls and wish for everything to be okay. What has this guy got? They got kind of a little brace there supporting the thing. Can we? No, we can't walk up that. He's standing on like a dome. Oh, here we go. Here's an interactable sword and shield. The age of affirmation. The fears of our past have been supplanted by a new hope for the future. Signs of the legendary nomad have been absent from our skies for many generations, but we use its symbol to remind us of our impermanence. We have seen war and disease and famine, and yet we remain. The knowledge of the aggregariate still resides within us. We are now the observers, the reflectionists, the speculators, the archivists, the concluders, the affirmationists. We found a lot of those groups already. We uncover truth and uphold it for all to see. From the ideologies of the Harold Fastrid doth Foster, Cycle 974, monument commemorated in Cycle 1000 to celebrate a new age of affirmation. So I do not know what they're referring to when they say the aggregariate. I do not know that word. I know the word aggregate. So he is holding a comet, the nomad specifically. Is that a windmill I'm seeing the blades of? Just straight ahead there? Maybe so. But anyway, I know the word aggregate, which means to spread out or distribute. Kind of synonymous with delegate. Someone who gives authority to different people and doesn't micromanage. But I'm not sure if aggregariate is a made-up word. It could be. They could be referring to some nebulous past group of people as the aggregariate, or as the aggregariate as all the groups as a whole, and that they spread out into separate designations. The revivalists, the affirmationists, and so on and so forth. And there's the comet coming down upon us again. What shall we find in this place? Looks like a city here, which may not be a good thing. It may be hard to find what we're needing to interact with here, and we only got 5 more to find. Kind of a tall, broad structure there. Hopefully we can find 1 or 2 more before this thing crashes again. Kind of a really interesting mechanic they've got with that. We find out a little bit each time before we're reset back to the beginning, but we get to keep our previous knowledge intact. It works pretty well, although it is kind of frustrating having to walk back out from the same place every time and losing that. What? Oh, we got an interactable here. Exodus. Mineria is a city of towering majesty built upon humble foundations, built upon crumbling ruins. Memories lost to dead streams can sometimes be revealed through stone. I don't know what streams mean, if it means rivers or something else. But our ancient nightmares are aligning with reality, and these stones cannot protect us. This nightmare may not have the agency our ancestors ascribed it, but the result will be the same. The hopes proffered by every sect have proved to be too little too late, and we cannot stand stubbornly awaiting the arrival of some fabled all-knower. We must venture forth without wavering, and hope we can outrun our fate. A fate which clearer eyes may have foreseen, and clearer minds may have forefended. From the Exodus dialogue presented by the authoritate of Mineria, Sassio Lothido, in Cycle 1999. So they left this place to try to prevent being destroyed, but if that's a giant comet hitting, I don't know if you can really escape that. Unless they're able to travel to other planets, or just someplace away from like the immediate impact point. Though I don't know how they would have concluded so far ahead with technology as primitive as they seem to be. I mean, who knows? They may be spectacularly more advanced than we are at the moment being portrayed here, but their architecture and just everything we've found so far leads me to believe that they're a more primitive society than the society in which we now reside ourselves. And I don't know if we've got long enough to find any more interactable story elements here. Don't really see anything through here. I'm just assuming that's the only thing within the city that can be interacted with. That giant thing in the center there that we found with the little plaque on it. And these are indeed windmills of some sort. There might be something at those. What do we got left? Just 4? Hopefully we can find what's left in our next cycle. Especially if we can find 1 more at these windmills, then certainly a possibility that we would be completing what we need to complete with this butterfly symbol or whatever it is. It looks like a butterfly spreading its wings to me anyway.